Okay. All right, we have something fun for you today. I'm Lindsay House. I'm part of Direction, Not Perfection community, and this is Robin Sachs, mindset and confidence coach. And we are coming at you with a fun topic today of three things that you can control in the next month. Oh, because as everyone's starting to feel like this is December's around the corner, and we're like, maybe I'll just wait till the New Year's happens. So I'm going to do our three things and then I'll shush Robin and give you the floor here. But our three things are one, simplify expectations. Two, stay out of all or nothing mentality. Three, plan ahead. And we're going to walk you through how that makes sense through this kind of holiday talk, as well as seeing 1 month until we all could be going, well, I'll just wait till New Year's. So, okay, hit number one, simplify expectations. What does that mean to you, Robin?
All right, so I will tell you whether it is this time of year or whether it is personally or professionally, more often than not, one of the things that helps to pop our stress up here so that we feel out of control has to do with expectations. Now, if you think about expectations, here's kind of the built-in dilemma with expectations. Expectations are things we as humans look at as benchmarks or what we want to strive to achieve. And so we look at them in a positive light. I have high expectations for myself. I have high expectations for other people, right? The dilemma part is one, most of our expectations are way too high. Two, they're completely unnecessary to actually accomplishing things and being able to remain calm and in control. So, for example, you might say, well, if I have no expectations, then everything just goes to pot, right? How can I not have expectations of other people? How can I not have expectations of myself? Well, if you think about that question and the answer to it, here's the simple answer. Every one of us is either going to do things or not do things. End of discussion. It's that simple, right? Expectations is a fancy word to make our brains go, but if I do that, how am I going to do that? And we start overthinking things. Or how am I expecting someone else to do or not do something? What happens is our expectations, when we have them, tend to be pretty high. Because if we're not saying, I have high expectations, why would we have expectations? It's kind of defeats the purpose. Just do it or don't do it, right? Expectations automatically implies I'm thinking a little above and beyond. So the problem with this is you might say, well, but it's the old if you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you're amongst the stars, right? All of that stuff. Great. If that kind of mantra motivates you and inspires you, that's phenomenal. Use that. The problem is we often say those things without realizing how we could adjust this expectation and adjust our stress tremendously because it is usually unnecessary to shoot for the moon. You've got to understand it is unnecessary. It is often unnecessary to find yourself in the stars. It is absolutely unnecessary. So we tend to put a lot of extra stress on ourselves with expectations. So if my expectations are here and I'm coming in here, which would be normal and perfectly fine to get things accomplished and move on, I'm always going to be disappointed in this gap. Always. And this gap. This is where we start questioning ourselves or second guessing or doubting ourselves and go, I could have done that better. I should have done more. And this gap brings an awful lot of stress and anxiety and overwhelm and worry and all of those things. I want you to know this gap 99% of the time is absolutely unnecessary. If you do it here and move on, you get to do six other things because you're not here messing with yourself. Same thing with other people. If my expectation is, and you might say this sounds awful, if my expectation is typically low, I expect the bare minimum from people, right? And that's not a bad thing. If I over expect from people, I'm putting something undue on them that is absolutely unnecessary, right? My bare minimum could be, and you could think for yourself, if I'm in traffic and have my turn signal on and we're coming up to a red light, stop and wave me over. How nice is that, right? If I'm walking into a building behind you and you just let go of the door as opposed to just hold the door for me so I can say thank you, those are bare expectations. If I make a call to a customer service line, I assume that frontline person, my expectation should be at the bare minimum, can you answer my basic questions? And if we need more, can I talk to somebody who can answer bigger questions, right? Stop having so many high expectations of everybody. Start to think about simplify your expectations for yourself and others and just watch how your stress level plummets. And at the same time, as people do things, as you do things, you are actually pleasantly surprised because most people do go above the bare minimum expectation. But if you expect this, you're going to be disappointed. And you did that, right? We do that to ourselves. And then we complain to people. Do you know what happened today, Lindsay? I can't believe this person said this. I can't believe they did that. And we just keep replaying it and recreating this stress and anxiety. Simplify your expectations and watch how stress levels plummet and how actually how you see people, you become so wonderfully, positively, pleasantly surprised most of the time.
It's so good. That was such a beautifully painted picture. Thank you, Robin, because there is that chasm, that gap that is in between expectations and outcomes, right? And that if we can reduce the gap, we're increasing our joy typically. So, and if people can really take that, what I was thinking as you were talking, as for holiday season, since we are there, where can you take that messaging that Robin just gave you and implement it into this month to come? And my brain kind of went to if you have crazy high expectations of everything, of getting the best presents for all the people on your list, of having the coolest Christmas card, of making sure you create the holiday party and you go to as many holiday parties, like where can you just take a couple things off your list and simplify and still walk out of the holiday season going, that was a blast. That was amazing. So,
And that applies to people also. Don't expect people to behave differently from how you know they're going to behave.
mm,
No judgment, just awareness. We often go in and go, this year it's going to be different, right? No, it's not. It's not. Stop. Nobody cares. Stop saying that. That is such an expectation that is unnecessary and usually unrealistic. If it is, what a wonderful, pleasant surprise. But if I walk into a room and expect Uncle Bob to immediately jump in and start telling everyone how fat they got and telling everyone their politics are wrong, and I cannot control Uncle Jim, and I don't have to. That's Jim or Bob or whoever I said or whatever, right? Or Carol, I don't care, whoever it is. We all know those people. Someone came to every one of our minds as soon as I said that, right? The point is, stop having expectations for people to behave differently. It's hard, it's easier to, it's harder, easier said than done. There are reasons people behave the way they do. Don't internalize that. You don't have to take all of that. You can have the expectation that I'm going to walk in and we all know that person's going to be the jerk at the table. And that's what we all know. And I'm going to choose how I'm going to work with that, respond to that, react to it. And the best answer is always let other people show who they are and don't think you have to fight it all the time because they're doing a better job than you would by countering them.
so no, so good. Okay, people. Okay, listeners. Number one, simplify your expectations. It's one of the most underutilized tools that is readily available to us. Number two, I do want to jump in on this staying out of all or nothing mentality because what I'm starting to see, and maybe you're seeing this too, Robin, but like we've got this month of December approaching upon us, and it is so easy to go into this, I'm going to say screw it mentality, or I'll worry about it when the new year comes. I'm just going to survive instead of thrive through this next season. And this is a lot of days that are about to pass to stay in that. I'm just going to wait till the new year mode. We're talking, I didn't count them up exactly, but we're 31 days plus at the moment of where we can still keep some good behaviors flowing, even if it's not all of them, or we can let everything go and succumb to the holiday and then feel like we're starting from ground zero or from scratch come January 1. And I just really don't want you to feel that way. I feel so much better to just feel like we're tweaking come January 1 versus overhaul. We're avoiding the overhaul feeling. And so, one of the best ways to go about this, I believe, and then I want your opinion on this, Robin, but is to kind of start thinking through what is manageable to keep in your flow that just is like almost so dumb or easy that to take it out is crazy. So, like for some of you, drinking your water in the day is easy, or for some of you, grabbing your walk or your workout remains easy to keep in the flow. For some of you, those are things that really take up a lot of brain space and willpower and energy in your day. So those are easy things to fall off your plate. So individualized. But for me, I really need the movement piece or my brain goes wonky. So like that's a no-brainer. It just stays. That's easy for me. That doesn't have to be easy for Robin or it doesn't have to be easy for some of my members. Like pick your things that you're and you might even want to write them down. Pick your items that you're like, I'm going to stay with these and feel very proud of them. And then when the new year comes, more time, energy, or motivation opens up, then I'm going to implement X, Y, and Z. Where does your brain go with that, Robin?
I love that. What great, and what I hear you saying, Lindsay, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I wrote it down. Do something.
Yes.
That's it. That is your entire mantra. Do something. Because again, and this ties beautifully, I think, what you said, Lindsay, into this, again, this expectations idea, right? If I don't walk 8,000 steps a day, I've failed, right? No, if you walked 3,500 steps today, you walked 3,500 more than zero. Please understand that is something, and
Yes.
something, do something is a win 100% of the time. Okay.
Yes.
The person who walks 10,000 steps twice a week is not going to see the benefits of the person who walks 4,000 steps every single day without fail. Again, this consistency piece, get your body used to that movement. It's not just the steps, right? It's all of the things, for example, that go with your along with that, right? Your mental clarity, your endorphins are popping, everything is flowing a lot better in your body. There's so many things that come along with movement, right? Which is a great example that you mentioned. You don't have to do everything. You don't have to do a bunch of things. If times become challenging, whether because all of a sudden the schedule is full, all of a sudden you're feeling overwhelmed, right? Sometimes this time of year is a good example of that. Oh no, end of year. Oh no, I haven't reached goals I wanted. Oh no, it's the family. Oh no, all these events and parties, all these things I'm expected to be at, all that stuff. Do I need to buy things for people? Oh no, it was a tight year. It's going to be hard to buy things for people. All of that stuff is very real and can be very overwhelming. Give yourself permission to do, I'll almost call them the little self-care activities that will allow you to stay a little bit more in control. And things like movement. If all you do is pick one thing off that list and say, I'm going to check this off every day, and I'm going to have a lower expectation, because high expectations are absolutely unnecessary. A low expectation with things like exercise, again, or water, or anything that you're wanting to do. The hard part is often starting. And so if you hold yourself to do something, whether that is 1 minute of an exercise, that's all I want you to do every single day, 1 minute of an exercise. And you might go, no, you got to do at least 20 or 30 minutes. Hold on, stop. 1 minute of exercise every day is what you have to hold yourself accountable to. That's the new expectation. What will magically happen? Two things. One, and you said this earlier, Lindsay, 1 minute is almost impossible not to do. Even if you're about to get into bed, you're like, I haven't exercised all day. It's like, oh my goodness, it's 1 minute. And you walk up and down the stairs four
Mhm.
times, right? Or you do 30 jumping jacks, right? Or depending on your level, right? Go do a 1 minute plank, or just stretch for a minute, right? Do some real stretching and then check it off your list. What that does is it makes your brain go, this is so easy, I can't not do it. So I will be checking it off every day. It's ridiculous. And two, more often than not, if you just get started, you will probably end up doing 15 or 20 minutes or a half hour. By the time you put your shoes on and say, I have to go out and just walk up and down the driveway 5 times, well, you're going to walk around the block. I mean, it's just that's how our bodies work, right? Physics 101. I am not a scientist, but physics 101, right? I remember learning about what Newton told us. I think it was Newton, right? Yes. An object in motion
Motion.
stays in motion, and an
Yes.
object at rest stays at rest. You have a choice. Don't overthink this. If I do nothing, I am an object at rest. I will stay at rest. Nothing will happen. That's a choice. If I do something, I don't have to do a ton. I have to do something. I immediately put this object in motion. And an object in motion is much more probably going to stay in motion. It's how it works. Our brains, our bodies, science, everything. It's how it works. So
Do
do
something. Do you know what's so
something.
fun about this is I'm looking at our third point. Like we didn't even really mean for these to connect as much as they're connecting, but our third point, we just talked about simplify expectations, which also can go into the do something or stay out of the all or nothing mentality. And then the planning ahead, which is kind of what you're talking about as well, that you can go into this, but we do have to plan ahead a little bit to make some of these do some things happen when we're in a crazy season of life.
True. And, Lindsay, we can kind of bounce back and forth on this because there are so many ways to do this. And what I mean by that is, so the plan ahead part, let me take a step back. The plan ahead part is another thing that can instantly take our stress levels in life from here to here. Instantly. Because a lot of the time, what kicks those stress levels up again are I'm in reacting mode instead of responding mode. And anytime our brains are in reacting mode, oh yeah, I forgot I need to do that. Oh yeah, I have to go get that birthday card. I totally forgot I got it. Oh great, now I'm gonna have to buy a belated one because I'm not gonna be able to mail it till tomorrow. Oh no, I don't have stamps to mail the card. Oh no, I have to buy a present for Tuesday because we're going to so and so's house for the holidays. Oh no, is what we say and do and feel when we haven't planned a tiny bit. So, a couple of ways to think about it this time of year specifically. You can look at your calendar and you can see a week from now, a month from now, whatever. You can see things that you already probably maybe have on the calendar, right? Maybe you're going to shows or plays this time of year, right? We just got Nutcracker tickets because we realized none of us have ever seen the Nutcracker, and it's here every year in Cleveland, and so we're going to go see the ballet, right? So that has a date, right? I might be going over to, my parents' house for one of the celebrations, right? We might be going to a friend's celebration. We might have a birthday party, all of those types of things. If we just look at our calendar, we know when we have things. Most things are not things that someone calls and says, oh my goodness, can you come to dinner at 6 o'clock tonight? We're celebrating. That's not real life. That's not how that works. And if so, I'm going to stop at Walgreens or CVS on the way to your house and pick up something to say thank you, right? Not a big deal. And you probably do not expect me, there's that word again, last minute to have the perfect gift that I'm bringing, right? So get over those things. Look at our calendars and go, I have 3 things I know are coming up. And then work backwards. Hey, my brother's birthday is in 3 weeks. So here's what you get to do. Look at your calendar and go, I have nothing going on this Saturday. I'm going to put a task on my calendar that says, buy my brother a birthday card. It's 3 weeks before you need it, but it is checked off your list. And that moment that's a couple of days before when you're going to meet him for lunch or something, and you're like, oh no, I got to get, oh, wait, no, I did that already.
Best feeling.
Things
Best
like
feeling.
presents, right? If it's
Yes.
August and you see the sweater that your sister, every time she sees it, loves it, or there's something that your mom or dad, right? Or something that your friend would adore, freaking buy it in August and put it in a closet or something and know that when the holidays come or a birthday comes or a celebration comes or a graduation comes, you have that sitting there. Make it so simple for yourself by doing things ahead of time and literally use this thing. It's either your calendar, your phone, whatever it is. If it's a paper planner,
Yeah.
put things as tasks way ahead of when you need to do them, and you will be so in respond mode instead of react mode.
Yeah.
You know what? Go to the dollar store and literally buy up a handful of get well cards and a handful of anniversary cards and a handful of wedding cards and a handful of birthday cards and a handful of congratulation cards. Go there and spend $15 or $20 at the dollar store. They have great cards, by the way, and put them in a folder in your file cabinet or at home in a box. You will never have to do that. Oh no, I got to grab a card on the way thing again. They're all sitting right there. Same thing with gift bags. If you go to a yard sale or again the dollar store or something, they've got really just nice stuff. And things like gift bags, wrapping paper, tissue paper, all that stuff. Just have a little place, a little box in your garage or your attic or a closet or something, right? Or your laundry room with all of that kind of stuff that we're always seem to be scrambling last minute to do. Just have that sitting in your house and you will so make life easier for you in those types of situations. It's amazing.
It is amazing. And I think this brings up the whole thinking about your future self and that your future self will thank you. And it
Mm.
kind of takes showing up and hearing your future self thank you. You have to practice everything that Robin and I talk about. Like there is a element of you have to practice it and see it come to fruition before you like become that firm believer in it. But when you start to practice simplifying your expectations, or you practice staying out of all or nothing mentality, or planning ahead, and then you show up and go, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I'm walking out the door with this card that I already signed and have a gift for a week ago. But in the moment, I always feel like in the moment we can talk ourselves out of it. We can be like, it's not a big deal, or I'll get it later. That I really have to flip to, I have to talk to my future self in the moment to say, will you find the time and will you be so glad that you have this already? And the answer is always yes. So, like, it's to your point, you see the sweater, buy the sweater. Like, you will be so glad you have that when the moment comes. But
Yeah,
I know
I
I feel
love
like
how
I'm
you did.
rushing us, but
I
I
love how
really
you
want to
did that.
keep this simple today. And just again summarize with the simplify expectations, stay out of all or nothing mentality, and plan ahead. And if you can use Robin and I's words over this next month, it would be fun to practice some of these skills and see where they pop you out in January. Do you have any last minute closing thoughts for us, Robin?
Um, no, you know what? The one thing I'll just say, just kind of, I think it goes along with all of these things that we have, because sometimes our expectations make us do things the same way we've always done them, right? Just like our habits do. And I love what you just said about always be in conversation with your future self. If this will help you at some point, current you needs to learn to do that more often, right? It's not about being perfect, it's about do that often. You will see how impactful that is and you will want to do it more and it will become much easier. But, you know, rethink or give yourself permission if you want to rethink some things this time of year. Just because we do things the way we've always done them doesn't mean that has to look exactly the same, right? And try some new things out if that feels okay to you, right? Instead of the group of friends that you all buy gifts for each other, how about you go out to an awesome lunch or something, or just go on a little day trip or something, right? We can give experiences this time of year, and those are the things that last so much longer than the thing that was in the box, which was thoughtful and wonderful and nice, that will go home and maybe go in a closet and maybe come out, maybe not. No judgment, just awareness. We get on autopilot this time of year. Give yourself permission to come off of autopilot and at least ask yourself, is there a different way that we could do this that actually would be a little more fun, impactful, interesting, that we would all remember 20 years from now and look back and go, oh my goodness, do you remember this? Because no one's going to remember the thing in the box 20 years ago, I guarantee. And that's just a human thing. But that's easy to get caught up in this time of year. Give yourself permission to look at it differently.
So good. I totally agree. Ah, thank you. Thank you for this little, we're just coming in, hitting a topic hard, and we're going to pop right back out. But Robin, you can find on LinkedIn is where she lives often, and my podcast, Direction, Not Perfection. And we'll come back at you another month here. We'll check in on you in January.
Bye, everyone.